Babes Behind the Beats with Jess, Bowen, and Boy Jnr.
Hello, everyone. It is Jess and Bowie here on Babes Behind the Beats, and we're so excited today because we have Ariel of Boy Jnr. joining us, and thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
We're so excited to chat with you and just get to know you. We love to just hear like a backstory of how you got to where you are because, you're releasing, correct me if I'm wrong, you have your full-length album coming out. Is it this year?
Yeah, it'll hopefully be in the fall.
Hopefully be in the fall. Okay, cool. Yeah. So we want to chat and just like get to know how you got into music and how you even got here today. So like tell us a little bit about when you first discovered your love of music and when you realized that this is kind of like what you wanted to do.
Yeah. I always say I feel like I've always been making music since I was like a kid. But I really started writing songs because my mom would encourage me to. She'd be like, you have a lot of feelings and emotions. Like you should channel that and put it into a song. So I started trying to do that when I was like 11, like middle school age, and just kept writing stuff on like acoustic guitar and piano.
That's so young. At 11 years old, you were writing
That's
already?
crazy.
Yeah.
But wait, was she a musician? Because like, pretty sure my mum wasn't telling me to put things into lyrics.
Yeah, both my parents are musicians and music teachers, so I think I just also really was lucky to grow up in an environment where music was appreciated and different kinds of music were just like around.
Yeah.
And that was even like an option for emotional expression. My mom was always like, put it into a poem or a story or like a song. You should write songs.
Great.
That's amazing. That's like, so a lot of people don't have that outlet or don't know that that's an outlet to like be able to put their feelings into. So it's really cool that you had this experience with your family that they told you, do it this way, which is really cool.
Yeah. No, I feel really lucky. This is why music teachers are so important.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, so you started writing at 11 and were these like, so then did you start performing these songs or were you or actually no, I wanted to know, were you in like school band then? Like did you do music in school?
I did. I was in we started playing instrument. You could like pick an instrument in like elementary school, and I did trumpet at first, and then I switched to baritone because I hated carrying like the whole trumpet case.
Yeah.
And if you did baritone, all you had to do was bring your mouthpiece because they had a baritone at school.
Oh,
so
that's
hilarious.
hilarious.
I was gonna say wait, because when you said I didn't want to carry a trumpet, I'm like, but a
I was like,
baritone's
that's
bigger.
No, I've got this perfect life hack.
That's genius.
And then I started taking guitar lessons when I was in high school. I taught myself a bunch of chords, like because I started writing songs and just like learning other songs. I had a camp counselor who told me about, oh my God, is it ultimateguitar.com? That like you could just people just upload like guitar chords.
Yeah,
and you could just
I've used
learn
it.
like where the chords fall. Against the lyrics.
Is it like tabs? Is that what they call it?
It's
like when you
basically
learn-
they have tabs, but I was really averse to learning tabs for a long time because I was like that. Well, a lot of tabs are useful for like solos.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't care about learning solos, and I was like, I'm not here for melodies. I just want to like accompany myself. But at some point I started learning how to read chord charts because that just shows you like where on the guitar you like place your fingers.
Yeah.
That was me doing a C chord, by the way.
Okay. I'm a drummer and she's the DJ, so I'm glad you told us because I would have been like, you're just doing something with your hands. I don't know.
Everybody's got like their cymbals.
Yeah.
Hand movement.
Exactly. Like I'm over here being like,
and I'm like this.
Yeah.
That's funny. So you got into the guitar then, which is very useful for performing, obviously.
Yeah, eventually I started performing stuff just like accompanying myself on guitar. I really didn't start performing like as Boy Jr., like with this name until I was in college and I just needed like a moniker to do a solo show. And I'd been floating this name, I was thinking about names for a while and I had like a list of band names and had this one floating around. And then my sibling is a graphic designer, as well as the drummer for my live performances. And they were like, here, I'll make a Boy Jr. logo. So once I had a logo, I was like, oh yeah, it's legit. I have my name in a font. And now now this is it. And I had
That's
an
sick.
electric guitar then. So I was like, yeah,
Oh,
the big
cool.
leagues. I've got a logo. I've got an electric guitar instead of acoustic.
Yeah. You're like, let's go. This is
Yeah.
it. Let's start
Yeah,
playing
I'm ready.
live.
So how'd you get your first gig then?
Technically, really the first thing that I did, like with this name, I think there was just like a bunch of solo artists that I had met while I was in school, and we had just floated around the idea of like, let's do like a little showcase of solo artists. And then I think it had to be like my winter break or something. I think I just emailed some like local promoters and where I live in Rochester, New York, and I was like, "Hi, I'm a solo musician. Here's some songs I have on Bandcamp.
Yeah.
If you can just add me to a show you already have, that would be so cool."
Yes.
And I guess I was just like pushy, and they were like, "Yeah, okay, join this bill." And really everything that I've done from there has just been like meeting other musicians in the area and setting up shows and getting offers. And now I have a DIY booking agent, and it's a lot less stressful.
Yeah.
Not having to figure those things out myself.
Oh, totally.
Booking
I'm
agents,
sure.
everything.
But no, that's what I really want to touch on that point that you just said, which is the reaching out to venues
Yeah.
and promoters and being like, oh, hey, like, please put me, on any gig. And like, this was kind of the way, my band even started out 15, 16 years ago.
Same with
And
DJ gigs.
Same, I think it's really important for people to know that it's really good to lay those, like just early on laying that foundation of working hard and trying to reach out to people in your local area, local venues, and being like, hey, if there are bands passing through that you think I'd fit the bill, I could bring in X amount of people, or would love to be on the show, whatever it is. It's great to reach out.
Exactly what I did. And then I would message like everybody I knew in the area, and people like, I don't know, even like friends from high school I hadn't seen for like a year, and I was like, hey, I have a band now, we're playing to the show, please come.
Yeah.
And I genuinely, like, you just have to be so annoying. I always feel so obnoxious, even reaching out to friends and being like, hey, I released a new song, like the algorithm isn't showing you my videos probably. Did you know that I'm still out here making music? Here's a link.
That's what you have to do, though,
you
right?
have to be so forward, like with music. It's crazy.
It's like shameless promotion you have to do for yourself, and it's really important these days.
Even pitching yourself to venues, you just have to be bold.
Well, and especially because it's so now there's so many different artists. It seems like it's a little saturated, especially with the whole TikTok world and everything. Everyone's now putting themselves out there as artists, and I love that there is a platform that people can do that on. But like to actually be able to be like, no, I want to play shows and show you that I can do this live, not just in front of like a camera at my house.
Totally.
Like,
I mean, I was doing stuff live for years before, like TikTok was
exactly
a platform for discovering music, and like not just, I know it was Musically first.
Right.
But I was playing locally a ton and trying to take out of town gigs when I could. I did book one DIY tour myself in 2019. Yeah. 2019. And I was like, cool. All right. Now, this was the most stressful thing I've ever done, but now I've done it and I'm going to keep doing it.
Totally.
And,
yeah.
Then I was going to book another summer tour, but it was COVID. So
and then that
a lot of the energy has just been dedicated to digital stuff, which is great in a lot of ways, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you approach the TikTok world? Because I know you've got quite a following on TikTok. So how do you approach that? Or how did you start approaching it? And when did you see that you started getting traction?
The first stuff that I really did, I was using it as a way to just give myself little writing and production assignments. Because I had always wanted to do video stuff, and I was like, oh, YouTube's got to be the way to go. But I always felt like the barrier to entry was a lot higher. Like, you have to have a fully fledged concept and things need to look good. And I was like, if I can't do it like perfectly, I'm not going to want to do it. But TikTok was like, I think you could only do like 15 to 30 second videos at first. Yeah. And there was no pressure for things to look good. In fact, the norm was for things to look just like DIY shot on your phone. there weren't even really easy ways to like upload your own audio yet. So I was just using audio, like just hitting play on my laptop, and stuff was coming through the monitors. And I was challenging myself to write like different like niche indie genres in like, a minute or less. So the first thing that I had made that actually, kind of just reached outside my circle and there were people asking for a full version was like, I was like, this is my impression of, I said like, music for like commercials, like indie pop music for commercials, like very like indie poptimism, Bleachers, Carly Rae Jepsen kind of vibes.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I was doing like ironically, but I was like, no, I really like this sound. Like I was having a lot of fun doing it. And eventually that became Suck My Finger Again. And people were like, you got to actually release this. And it got 25,000 views, which was like the most viral anything I had done had ever gone.
It's crazy.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah, you're
stoked. People
stoked.
actually care about what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And from there, I was doing more things like that, just like different, sort of parodying different styles and like leaning into the kind of what makes the blueprint of different musical genres, and then started doing crossover covers, which was also a huge like songwriting and production lesson. Just taking like one popular song and doing it in a different popular artist's style.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
and I
a
think that
cool
really
concept.
helped
Yeah.
just like get what I was doing out there. And I would do just like kind of funny-ish, I don't know, just sort of like I guess I was going for witty. I feel like I'm never really going for funny. I don't actually know how to be funny. But like more humorous, like novelty one-off little songs. So and I released some of those and just like tried to, answer to people's requests. But now I feel like within the last, like, really just this last year, I have really felt like I have not been nurturing just strictly the artist side of me enough. I feel like I don't share that as much as I want to. And, of course, the worry is just like people only have followed along or only know my work in this context of like sort of unserious stuff. Not that it, it's still serious work that takes a lot of work, but you get thrown into this
like a typecast.
category
yeah.
of being like a TikTok musician.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, oh yeah, well I'm only able to make this funny, like novelty stuff because I've been doing this and making music and performing and doing like the DIY stuff for years beforehand.
Exactly. Like you knew how to make a song and do it in someone's tone because you are an artist and have been doing this since you were like 11. Like it's not just like you were like,
and because I'm obsessive and passionate about it too.
Totally.
I mean, this is that.
And you need to be. You need to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So how are you? Are you gonna have another profile, or you're still putting it up on the same TikTok page?
Yeah. I mean, it's still all Boy Jr. and like I've definitely still woven a lot of my like serious, legit work. Which always, I mean, I say serious, but like I feel like I'm very serious about being very fun and goofy. But I've always woven that into every platform that I'm on. It's just, it's still, Walter's about to walk right now.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, that was the best.
That's amazing.
I was like, there's an alien on the screen.
You say his name is Walter?
Yeah.
What a beauty. Oh, Walter's beautiful.
Welcome, Walter, everybody, to Babes
Walter,
Behind the Beats.
Do you want to talk about your new album?
Yeah, Walter.
Cameo.
We love.
Butt out of here.
He's like, this is what I think about that.
Oh my god, I love that. We are using that clip.
That is absolutely going on our page.
Good.
We are animal
the best part.
lovers.
That's the highlight of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh god.
What was I gonna ask? And you were saying, so has your sibling always been a part of your project then?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so they're a big part of it as well.
Even if it's just like I'm tossing ideas off of them, they've done like all of the kind of like the visual design side of things since I started doing stuff. And they do drums for the live shows, except for when they can't. And are the only person in the world that I know 100% fully gets me, except for like my mom. But
yeah, that's cool.
I think sometimes it's just a sibling thing.
It's nice to have a sibling to
who
lean
really
on, who really gets you and
understands,
to do art with.
Yeah.
It's really cool, I'm sure.
Absolutely. It's like the coolest thing in the world.
That's amazing. And what about the other members of Boy Jr.? Are they kind of rotating members, or do you have anyone specific? Like, do you have like a band that is like the band?
Well, since doing the first tour in 2019, that first tour that we did, it was me and Carrie, my sibling, and James played guitar, who I call Philippe, and that's kind of just become his like Boy Jr. stage name, which I love. that was like the high school nickname.
That's great.
And now it's kind of got a new context. And the three of us have gone out on the road together a couple more times since then. But I've done other iterations of performers too. I had my friend Cal do drums when we did a tour last summer, and I think that was just the two of us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it was just like me, Cal, and backing tracks.
That's a pretty standard
so, like,
thing these days, I feel
Yeah.
like, drummer,
Yeah,
singer,
yeah.
and then backing tracks. And especially if it's like, if you're opening something or if the stages are small, it's like, why take up that much space on stage?
No, totally. And it makes it a lot easier to just like have less gear to literally physically haul in a van.
Yeah, totally.
So that was like, because I do guitar. Well, I was doing guitar for that. A lot of the shows were like either just like me and Carrie on drums, and I'm doing guitar and vocals, and then there's tracks. But then for the tour, I think it was like starting in the fall or winter. I had Philippe just take over guitar,
Okay.
and I got to just sing and
that helps with
perform
performing,
and
right?
feel
I'm like,
free on
okay.
stage.
Yeah, I'm never going back. I was really attached to like, no, I need people to know I'm a guitarist.
Yeah.
I feel like people don't take it seriously when it's like, oh,
Yeah.
you're just like basically doing karaoke. I'm like, no, I need people. I also love playing guitar.
Yeah.
But it feels great to just, I feel totally in the performance now.
Yeah.
So that's kind of been the most recent lineup.
Gotcha.
And there will definitely be more shows with that lineup soon. I'm really excited.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
So another question I guess I kind of wanted to touch on. So what exactly do you feel like you would, I think you said something on your Instagram, or I saw something on your Instagram that says like, what is the genre? Like, is it electro pop? Is it like, is this a joke? Like, is this like something that you think like an ongoing joke that you have yourself about it? Or like, cause I feel like it's like pretty electro pop, right? Like garage.
Yes, I definitely feel like ultimately it falls under the umbrella of electropop. But I also feel like, and I think this definitely comes from being having to be very online and very involved in this algorithm promotion age in music, is like keywords are everything, and this sort of hyper individualized aestheticization and genre-ing of everything. Like everything becomes a certain core. People get really into these like micro genres, which is really cool. But I don't think I'm ever going to like want to be really strictly down one path of a genre, because my music is also very rock influenced. It's very sound design influenced, and I'm always going to want to be like fusing different artists and different elements of my musical influences to create something that just feels exciting.
Yeah.
And you're self-releasing?
Yeah.
Or,
Yes.
Yeah, so you're like, what distribution online platform are you using?
For this current round of releases, it's through Vydia. I used to release stuff with DistroKid and Level in the past, and just get everything up on like any and all DSPs that those platforms offer.
Because it's interesting, like because I also self-release, but I use AWOL. But it's like you have to pick
I've tried to look into AWOL, but I know like you have to like know somebody.
I don't know how. I think I might have been good timing when I got on, but it's like you have to pick the category you're going to release in, the genre, because that's going to affect the chart. So you're like, is this house music? For me, it's dance music. So is it house, or is it tech house, or is it like there's 400 different categories, and that means you might be in the top 100 or you're not. Like,
dang.
Yeah. No, it's stressful because I feel like depending on who you're talking to, you can tell someone like I make indie music, and they'll be like, oh, cool. So that means it's a pretty broad category, but the bottom line is that you are making it mostly yourself. But like for a lot of people, if you just search like indie music as an aesthetic, I don't know, you're going to get like sort of beachy guitar pop with a little bit of synth, but it's so broad. And if you search for an indie playlist, these days you're going to get, it's mostly going to be artists who are not independent. You're going to get artists who are like signed and backed by a label, but are doing something that's slightly more experimental than
they're
the
like
dance pop of the early 10s
Noah
and
Khan.
early 20s.
They're like independent indie. Noah Khan or something is on your playlist. You're like, this person is not. He's massive. You
indie
know?
Can be like indie folk, but indie can also be like people would consider Billie Eilish indie.
Right. Yeah.
But it's like, but that's also she's a mainstream pop artist.
Like really mainstream. It kind of defeats the word, doesn't it? Oh my God.
But if you say
crazy.
alternative, I would definitely consider some of the stuff I do to be like alternative pop rock.
Yeah.
But if you say alternative music, people think like, okay, that's punk. Like alternative is like,
you're
if
right.
you search alternative aesthetic or alternative music, it's just like, oh, did you mean e-girls because we're on TikTok?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's very weirdly limited.
It's wild.
Because of this like algorithm categorization thing.
Yeah.
And I just think it's fun to poke at it and be like, what genre is this? My Spotify bio is responses people gave me from when I asked what genre is Boy Jr. And people just came up with like all sorts of ridiculous things. So I just put all those things in a row, and it's just sort of like
cool.
Oh my God. I need to check
very
that.
chaotic list.
I love that.
What was your approach for releasing singles on TikTok? Like, you putting like, a lot of people put videos with mouthing to the song, or like, was there a strategy with that?
I try a little bit of everything.
And see what hits,
I wind up just making notes on my phone for like different songs. Like I have just like one super messy note for Bullying Myself, the song I just put out, or just any idea I think of that like I maybe could use to make content around the song. I just start filling that with ideas.
Yeah.
Because I'd love to just like funnel more energy into making artistically driven visual content. But I think people like need a little bit more context than just like something like that's like kind of too artsy.
Yeah, you're
I
so
just feel
right.
I can really get lost in just people's scrolling, and I understand why. I mean, as much as like I'm like, oh, we should care about art more, nothing hooks me in like somebody sort of guiding my attention with some kind of story or context or like gimmick.
Yeah,
That's true. I agree. I'm the same. I feel like that's the thing that draws me in the most.
Yeah,
on
you're
TikTok.
right.
And like when I stop scrolling is when someone's like in front of the camera
Talking
starting
to camera.
tell me what's something that was happening to them or an experience they had or something.
rather than something pretty.
Rather than literally something
artistic.
that was done almost too well on TikTok, I end up scrolling past if it looks professionally done, because I'm just like, oh, like another promo for something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm
you
like,
think it's an ad.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you think it's an ad.
Yeah. So I always scroll past that. So
Absolutely. No, I feel like there's stuff I'm really proud of that I'm like, I know it's not like, performing as well because it's just a cool visualizer with lyrics and me lip syncing, but people are kind of oversaturated with people promoting their music.
Yeah.
And I think people are just really sick of having music promoted to them. That's why the whole like, did I just write the song of the summer thing became such a meme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the
Everyone's
title.
like, no, you didn't write the song of the summer.
Yeah.
Also, the title is so important for people who can, like, when you're putting up a story, you're like, I want a song to do with dogs. Now, if dog's not in the title, it's not coming up. So for your TikToks or your Insta stories or whatever, it's like it's so crazy all of that.
So many keywords and stuff to like think about to put in there, and then it's a lot. It's a lot to think about, but
it's a lot to think about, and I hate it sometimes. I'm like, I can't believe the amount of mental energy and how much conversation I have had about just like this current landscape of content creation, music promotion, the algorithm age and its effect on art. Yeah. But I also, as much as it's like, wow, this is exhausting, and I feel like me and everybody else I know feels insane right now because it's just such a weird, hyper-connected yet disconnected time to be alive. Yeah. But I also find it really fascinating, and I love talking about it.
Yeah.
It's a good way to put it. Hyper-connected but disconnected.
Totally. Yeah. Totally.
It's super bizarre. Yeah. And I think people are really aware of it. Like, you get people saying, negatively saying that certain music is TikTok music, and that it sounds like it was just made to get popular on TikTok. Which sucks. I think that's like a crummy thing to say to somebody who's like probably just trying their hardest to make art that like matters to them.
Yeah.
And also, I think what people are mistaking for like quote TikTok music is songwriting that's just very like storytelling based or imagery based, which has always been an effective method of songwriting. Like people like stories. But I think we are seeing more and more music that has TikTok or Reels or YouTube Shorts in mind for like, how will this resonate with people who have never heard this song or this artist on a first time listen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, people are making TikTok music, but I don't know if that necessarily matters.
No.
People were making radio music at a certain point, and people were annoyed by that.
Right, yeah.
Just having the video in mind that's going to be associated with it, but it's not going to be a music video. It's going to be a moment or a talking to camera.
And let's be real, a lot of these, labels are telling their artists about like
Definitely.
we need like sorry we need the TikTok content, and so at some point you're as an artist going to be like, well then fine, fuck, like I can't win, so I might as well just make a song that I think could blow up on TikTok because if you need that.
It's a lot easier to promote a song when the song kind of promotes itself.
Yeah,
totally.
And I think we're already seeing more and more artists who are just like leaning into that, which makes my skin crawl sometimes, and also makes me think. I don't know.
Yeah, it is a weird, we talk about this a lot on our show because like you said, I mean, it is just like, this is the music industry right now that we're living in. Yes. I mean, there's just no doubt about it that it is very much a TikTok world, and that's dominating, the creative process as far as, not we can't just write songs anymore, it feels like. You can't just sit down and be like on your guitar like, wow, I just I wrote a really cool song. It's like it just, you have the stress and anxiety about, well, how do I turn this into something viral, or how do I get people to listen to this?
Right. And it's super stressful. I mean, I have since delving more into this side of things, I've realized I start to measure like my worth in like a view count, and it feels like getting a bad grade on an assignment I worked hard on when it's like, oh, this didn't even break 1,000 views.
Yeah,
totally.
It just it changes so rapidly, and the fact that so many artists who are making work that is powerful, and that they have built up an audience over the years, and they can't even reach that audience whenever they have a new release, because if it's not some kind of gimmick, you're always up against the algorithm.
Yeah.
I meant to tell you, actually, your band stuff, it doesn't come up in my algorithm. And like I see her all the time, so it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But then when I looked at your page, it's there, so I'm like, fuck, what the hell? These algorithms is not showing to the people. I'm following their page.
Yeah. But that's exactly
no,
what
honestly,
you're saying.
I feel like as soon as you follow somebody, you're never going to see their stuff again.
Literally, I was like, I realized now it's like, don't follow anyone on it, because I actually, once I followed people, I was like, oh, I don't see your videos.
Yeah, same on TikTok.
So, yeah.
I know at least with Instagram, you can select a couple accounts as your favorites. So they always show up on the top of your feed whenever they post.
Right.
I wish TikTok had that, but they don't.
Yeah. That's interesting. Huh.
But I don't know that people... I don't think a lot of people know about it, but I've also had people tell me I am in their favorites on Instagram, and my posts don't always come up for them.
Oh.
That's crazy. Yeah, something's weird. I mean, it's
strange.
insane that anything you're posting wouldn't be coming up in my feed.
Yeah.
That does not make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so wild.
They're like, they see too much of each other, so...
the algorithm is like,
we're gonna push
she
them
doesn't need to
apart.
see this. I'm sure they already talked about this, so she doesn't need to see the video. Well, yeah, that's all so fascinating. I'm glad that you were happy to talk about that, because we do like to dive into stuff like that with this.
God, yeah, I love talking about it.
Yeah, amazing.
I feel like this is like all I talk about.
Yeah, because it really is so fascinating.
It's our lives.
It's our lives these days.
It is. No,
as
totally
creatives.
is. And it always, it's so frustrating as this constant background noise of like, I'm going about my day, but I'm like, oh, let me check my post. And then it's like, oh, it didn't skyrocket me into success. I'll never make it in music. And then I feel crazy.
Yes.
But then when I actually talk about this with other people in real life, it's like, whoa, we're all in the same boat.
Yeah.
This stuff is infuriating and bizarre, and we all feel super weird, and we all ultimately just care about each other and care about music. And it feels really good to kind of come back to that when we can.
Yeah. Yes, we do have to remind ourselves of that, is to come back to the, like, not getting down on ourselves, like you said, this happens to me all the time. Like, I post anything I post, if I post a video and I'm like, oh, like, do I need to take it down? Should I be embarrassed? Was this not good?
Right.
Did I not do well? And I'm like, do I need to be embarrassed by this? And your self-worth is now in one TikTok video.
Yeah.
You're like, what am I doing? What am I doing? Like, why do I care so much?
Yeah, I absolutely feel that. And it's like, well, why do I care? Because to a certain extent, like, it's not the be all end all, but like, it has such a heightened level of importance right now that it genuinely stresses me out. I'm like, I fear never being able to legitimately sustain a career or make a living because my video views dropped off. And I fear that can be the difference between, having any kind of brand or monetary or label interest in what I'm doing. Yeah. Also it can just make a big difference in, like, do my actual fans know what I'm up to? And can people buy the music or merch or tickets? And if they're not seeing this stuff, that's the difference between, like, me being able to afford, like, gas and food or not.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Totally.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm glad we chatted about that.
Yeah, me too.
Getting it. I'm like, whew, feel like I just had a little therapy session, got it off my chest a little bit. I'm like, oh my God, we all feel the same. Whew.
Yeah. Literally anytime I talk about this with other people, it's like, oh God, well, at least I'm not the only person who's dealing with this.
Yes. Well, before we start closing, wrapping up, I just wanted to ask a little bit about the new album. Do you you're independent releasing, so do you have a date yet, or is it because it's a self-release you're kind of not really trying to put too much of
Yeah, tentatively right now the date we have in mind for the full album release is October 23rd.
Coming up. Okay.
So as long as we stick to that schedule and get all the artwork done in time, I guess, really.
Are all the songs are all done? Recorded?
Yeah.
Amazing.
The songs are all done, and I'm already working on songs for, like, a deluxe edition, because I wrote all these breakup songs from, like, all different relationships, and then I had the album done and, like, sent out, and then I was like, oh, wait, I have more to say.
That's funny.
Don't you love when that happens?
I went through another breakup, and I was like, okay, now I have to write about this one.
That's perfect.
But there you go, deluxe. You've already got the deluxe album coming out. Like that's great that you already have that in mind. And then probably after that, you're like, well, fuck, I've got a second album. I'm ready to start writing.
You should call
Oh
it.
my god, no! I already have ideas for like the next album after this one and the album after that one, and I'm like, I gotta hurry up. I have too many songs I need to put out.
You can call it, but wait, there's more.
Literally, oh my god.
But wait, yeah, amazing.
Oh, that's exciting. We're excited to hear your new album.
yeah, can't wait for that.
Thank you. I am
And
so excited to get it out there.
can't wait. And so for everyone who, like you said, if the algorithm hasn't hit yet, obviously
Yeah.
Bullying Myself just came out. That's your most recent release. So everyone go check that song out. It's really lovely. I love that song. It's really great. I
Thank
listened
you.
to it earlier.
Thank
it's really
you.
cool.
I waited a long time to put that out. That's one of my favorite things I've made.
It's
I don't
so
know,
cool.
when you feel like you finally like, oh, the abstract idea I had in my head, I actually was able to like get it out in song form. Ooh,
Perfect.
nothing beats that feeling.
Nothing more satisfying than that. Amazing. Awesome. Well, for anyone who's not already following you, do you want to give all your social media handles so everyone can go check out what you're up to?
Yeah. Boy Jr. on every streaming platform is BOY space JR period. I am Boy Jr. 0.69 on TikTok. Boy Jr. official on Instagram. I think YouTube, if you just search Boy Jr., I think it's just Boy Jr.
Great. It'll pop up there.
I'm on Patreon. I have a merch site. What other platforms are there? I think that's it.
That's pretty much
I
it.
think I got everything.
No one really uses Facebook anymore, right? I don't know.
Yeah, like
Do
I'm
we?
on Facebook and like you can follow me, but like
You're
good
like, that's
luck.
not what I'm posting.
hate
Like, that's not what
Facebook.
we try to, we
Yeah.
don't prioritize it.
It's Boy Jr. Music on Twitter as well.
Oh, there we
And I'm
go.
on Threads.
Oh,
I think
that's
all
right.
of them.
Okay.
That's
Well,
a lot.
It's a lot, but if you just look up Boy Jr. and then also we'll tag as much as we can when we post
Yeah,
this, so
awesome.
everyone can
Yeah,
just.
if you find me on any platform, there's links out to all of
You'll
the other
find it
platforms
all.
on Linktree anyway. So
Yeah.
Amazing.
you'll find me.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. So nice
Yeah,
chatting with you.
thank you so much for setting this up and chatting. I feel lighter. I like feel relieved.
Yeah,
talking
we
about
love
it.
too, right?
No,
Like-
it was very nice talking.
Just
to
like
you.
a weight is lifted off of my chest now after
Yeah,
having
absolutely.
this chat. It's amazing. Well, awesome. Have a good rest of your day, and thank you again for doing this. We
Yeah,
appreciate
thank
it.
you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Okay,
Awesome.
bye.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.